We had this piggy bank when, I don't know, I guess you had it when you were a kid, so
yeah,
I had it.
6 or something.
Yeah,
right?
I had it right when I started learning about the church. And it separated into 3 sections, and one section was a bank, and one section was a church, and one section was
a shop.
A shop. So any money that Katie and I received, whether it was from like grandparents for birthdays, anything we got, we would separate what we had, and we put 10% into the church part of the piggy bank, and we put however much we wanted to spend shopping into the little shop, and then we put the rest into the bank. And that just kind of, early on, it showed us what we needed to be doing with our money, and it just gave us a visual like, oh, we have to separate, and we have to, like, I don't know, we have to, compartmentalize what we have, and there are some things that, I don't know, there's just priorities that you have to set, like, right when you get that money. There's always something we did, like, right when we got it in the mail from Grandma, we went straight to the piggy bank and did it immediately. That was
something just that the church is the community, and that means the most to us in our lives. We've given back to the church like all the time, and everyone's going, oh, that's so nice of you, la la la. But I mean, generosity to the church is extremely inherent to being a part of the church, because the church gives so much back to us. Like, when I was ill, we had just started coming here, and I got very ill and was bed rest, and I got this, the prayer shawl, and I was like, totally Valium, Vicodin doubt, whatever, but I was like, oh, it's a prayer shawl from the church, so I was really happy, and I took it with me to all my doctor's appointments and physical therapy and all this stuff. And it's nice to have a community kind of backing you up, and I think to be part of that community backing other people up is important too.
So there's a farmer and his wife who lived across the road from us, up north of town, and Mr. and Mrs. Float, they were in their 90s, and we got to know the Floats, and we became very close to them, and we found out that Mr. Float had worked to put the roof on our church when they moved here in the 50s, on this building. And we had just started, I believe, coming to Plymouth, which is how we got onto this conversation. He was an old German guy, and he was here in the German congregation, and he said, they moved all the way out of town, and there was this whole big story. But it was his faithfulness and generosity that physically built this church. And how could we do less than with whatever we have to give that, to be a part of that heritage of generosity from this farmer across the road, from those people who founded this community, from the people who give their lives, and as a member of the staff, as volunteers, as lay leaders, if what little we can do is help support that and keep this community alive, just to honor Mr. Float would be enough. But to think of the impact that this community has in Fort Collins and around the world, it's an honor, and it's a privilege, and it's a blessing to be a part of that. So, seeing God in Mr. Float, this faithful man who is faithful to his community, and to see that continue is a great thing.
We have been involved pretty recently with Faith Family Hospitality, where churches around Fort Collins house homeless families for a week at a time.
In the church.
Yeah, and they house them in the church. And I think it was the first night that we went as a family to it's called Evening Hosts. And so you eat dinner with the families and you just talk to them and sometimes help the kids with homework. Just be there. If they need anything, you're there. Provide support, help, anything they need. And I was really nervous. I have not had that much experience with anyone homeless. And when I pictured someone homeless, I was like, oh, it's the guy as Mom said, is the guy with the long beard, kind of scraggly, kind of intimidating on the street. So I was really nervous. But we got there, and I don't know, there was I don't know how to say it.
Kids?
There were kids, yes.
Girls our age.
Yeah, there were children my age who were experiencing something that I could never imagine. Such terribleness. I don't, homelessness. I mean, I can't imagine. And we sat down, and it was so awkward. It was so painfully awkward. And we were eating dinner, and the kids just, they shone, is that the right word?
They shine.
I don't know, you're my English teacher, Mom. They were
Shining.
shining. They were shining with joy and happiness. They were around people who had the light of God inside of them, and I don't know, it was like they were the happiest children on earth. They were being loved, and they were being fed, and they were being housed, and it was amazing to see them so enlightened in such a time of absolute horror, and that we were able to help them feel that and give, maybe that was the best part of their entire day. Is absolutely crazy. It was amazing.